Hey, welcome to Mama Mandala, where magic is somatic. I'm Hagar, and I'm so grateful to have this moment with you. There are so many reasons right now in the world to feel overwhelmed and disconnected, fragmented, all over the place, unclear, uncertain, and deep in the not knowing. So if you feel this way at moments, all the time, constantly, sometimes, you're not alone. Okay, that's a really important thing to remember right now. And there are so many ways that we can orient ourselves around these times and find our way or carve our path or figure out how to move with these difficult energies that we're all experiencing. And I just wanted to offer us a couple of avenues, a couple of ways to orient ourselves in these times. And I like to start always with the body. This is nothing new in this world. The body is how we receive the world. It's how we live. In a way, we can even argue that the somatic is the soulful. It's the expression of the soulful. Or some ways that I like to interpret this is that the body actually lives in spirit. I've been hearing this teaching more and more these days that the soul is not in the body, that the body is in the soul. There's something really beautiful and profound about that. And there's no right or wrong here. These are all, again, ways of orienting ourselves. How do you want to see it? How do you feel it right now? What it means to you in the moment? Because these are ideas and concepts that come through us as humans, right? So to remember that you have the ability to orient yourself because you are human. So part of being human is actually a really beautiful thing. So we start with the body of the human. And if you're not in a position right now to close your eyes and turn your attention fully inside your body, that's okay too, wherever you are. Feel the ground underneath you, whether you're standing or walking or sitting, and just feel how it sits beneath you or moves beneath you. It's always sitting beneath us and moving beneath us. Notice the sensation of your hips on the ground if you're seated, or your feet on the earth if you're standing or walking. If your eyes want to close, you can let them close. If you have the ability to place a hand over your heart and a hand over your belly, you can do that. I notice that my hips want to move around. I'm seated on the ground right now. If you need to move your hips around a little bit, that's fine. So listen to what your body is saying, how it needs to shift so that it can reorient itself as you orient yourself toward it. And give yourself a couple of moments to feel your breath moving through. You don't have to do anything with your breath so much as to pay attention to it. Notice if it's changing and shifting when you turn your awareness toward it. And again, if you're not in an eye closing and in an environment that can give you space to do that, that's okay, wherever you are right now. Just bring awareness to your breath. And you can start to slow your breath down a little bit and maybe even bring the breath into a fuller belly that expands to receive it, making it blow up a little bit like a balloon when you breathe in. And relax as you breathe out. Just a couple of rounds like that of a deep breath that moves into the belly and expands the belly. And a breath that flows out slowly to help your belly relax. And this kind of belly breathing helps to regulate the nervous system. And when we regulate our nervous system, we can reorient ourselves with a bit more of our choice of how we want to orient ourselves rather than just react. We have the ability, when our nervous system is a bit more regulated, to respond to the world, to respond to what's happening. And you are responding properly if you're feeling overwhelmed. That's not necessarily because you're dysregulated. It's because the world right now is dysregulating. So breathe into your belly a couple of more rounds. And allow yourself to arrive right where you are. Feeling what's happening is a way of orientation and of being with ourselves. And when you're ready, you can allow your eyes to softly open. And give yourself a moment to let the eyes be soft. And look, if there's nothing that you feel like you can hold on to right now, where like it feels maybe like there's no ground under our feet, and we get to feel into it. Okay, we don't want to bypass it because it's not something that we are going to necessarily be able to alchemize on our own in a moment, right? If it feels like you're in the dark and you're disoriented and there's nothing really, there's no threads that hold you, breathe with it, okay? And know that there's even myths, there's mythology, which is another way of orienting ourselves in these times or in any times. Myths open up the pathways, mythology stories open up the pathways within our unconscious. They help us connect and understand ourselves and one another. So you open yourself up and you know, oh yeah, there's mythology of darkness. There's dark mothers that devour the universe. There's in the Native American traditions of the Southwest that actually travel to the east and to the north as well. But there's a very important character, Grandma Spider, and I'm not from that tradition, so I'm not going to speak of it in a way as an expert, but I am touched by Grandma Spider because she's a character that lives and sits in the void, in the dark, for a very long time before she starts to spin and weave the world into being. And the threads come from the darkness, from the unseen. And with those threads, she weaves the world together when time is ready. So she invites this patience and this wisdom to sit in the dark, to sit in dark, difficult times, to sit in the void. In Sanskrit, there's a word shunya, and Buddhist teachings speak of that quite a lot, of that emptiness, the void, the dark void that is the fertile ground of creation. This is where Grandma Spider pulls the threads or spins the threads so that she can weave the world together. And it's kind of beautiful. There's stories where she weaves the world with song, and to each being that she creates, she offers the ability to have their own voice, their own thread. So there's this interwovenness, this interconnection, that we're reminded that we are a part of a web. That's why so many of us feel the way that we feel right now, that overwhelm, that fragmentation, the worry about what's going on. So we are in this together, and each of us has a special and individual gift, a voice to bring into the world, a medicine that we each have. but we're not separate from each other. We're woven together, always woven together. And even Grandma Spider is a part of a tapestry of mythic beings that are spider-like, that are weavers, like the Moire from the Greek mythology, the three women that spin and weave the with the threads of fate, that spin the threads of fate. And they have equivalent in Norse mythology, the Norns. And there's weavers in different traditions. In the Greek mythology, we have also Arachne, who has this like almost like is possessed by this creative capacity and skill to weave. And of course that sparks the jealousy of Athena. And Athena in a way forgets the interconnectedness, right? She curses Arachne to become a spider and forever weave her web, because she's so jealous of her ability to weave beautifully. So we're reminded of the stories of our own tendencies, perhaps sometimes, to separate ourselves because we're jealous, or because we feel like we don't belong, or we feel really depressed, or we feel we just, because we're feeling so fragmented, so we just feel like that, like, oh, everybody else is doing this thing and I'm not, or everyone has it better than I do. So I just want to normalize it, because as we orient ourselves, as I normalize jealousy for this particular moment, because it came up in this moment of the story, it's the reminder that any of the feelings that we have must be normalized. We have to say yes to it before we work with it to change it. We have to be with it first. That's why orienting toward the body first, teaching ourselves to be with ourselves first and foremost, right? Be with ourselves wherever we are. And when those characters weave, they are weavers of dreams. They invite us to weave our reality from our dreams, right? It's the sitting in the void of Grandma Spider. It's weaving from within the unconscious, from the collective unconscious. If it's spinning the fate, it's literally co-creating our lives. If it's spinning the artistic a web of Arachne, it's the invitation to make our lives this gorgeous tapestry, this artful expression of who we are and of our inspirations. And that comes from being in touch with what we want, with what our dreams are, with what our inspiration is. And we may feel in times like these that, who has time to dream? I can't even dream. I'm just in survival mode. And if I'm not in survival mode and I can dream, maybe we feel a little guilty because of what's going on and how other people are not able to dream because they're in serious survival conditions, barely surviving. So there's a lot of collective grief right now that may sit on you in a heavy way, that feels like guilt and not letting you dream, or feel like you can't even have your inspirations being sparked and followed because there's too much going on. But those are necessary, because our muse, and that's like another way to orient ourselves, our muse is like the North Star. It's our compass. It's how we find our way in this world. And I'm not saying this that we have to follow our muse in this overly individualized kind of a way, in the westernized sense of this endless opportunities and possibilities to express yourself. That's not what I mean. But I think that art right now and ways of connecting to our poetic nature, it's really important right now. Art is not just it's not just privilege, it's our survival. We survive as a species because of our ability to tell stories, our ability to make art, our ability to express in different ways. And that cannot happen without without allowing ourselves to be hit by inspiration, without following our desires and our passion. We can even take it all the way to the cosmic concept in the Hindu tradition that desire is one of the first three things that make this world come into being. This universe comes into being from the power of desire. And that it's a desire to make, a desire to create, a desire to unfold, a desire to bring forth something from within the potentiality. It's called Icha Shakti. Shakti is power. It's the goddess. It's the goddess in Hindu tradition. She's all the goddesses, and she's power and capacity. And Icha is desire. It's this. I always think of it. It's this itch to exist. So your itch to create, to become, to express is necessary. It's needed. It's a compass. So that's another way to orient ourselves. And then we can bring it all back into the body to keep weaving it. There's a pranayama, there's a breath work exercise from the yoga tradition that it's called Nadi Shodhana, and it translates as cleansing or purifying or cleaning the channels of energy. And I won't get too far right now into my opinion about this idea of purification. We can use it as a way to bring a little bit more clarity, because it clears the passageways of our breath, and it's designed and imagined by the yogis as this exercise that connects us to our center, to brings us to our center, and clears the right and the left channels of energy in the body. And one of the ways that I like to do it, because we move with the breath side to side when we do this, is that this is a weaving exercise. And it's allowing the serpentine nature of our being that helps us see things from different angles. And through that helps us reorient ourselves, by the way, because this moment, when you feel what you feel, when you feel overwhelmed, requires a reorientation, right? So that you can function, so that you can ground yourself. So this teaches us reorientation, because it gives us the serpent that moves through the sides, through the center, side to side, collecting information and experiences from every aspect. So from every aspect of our being, from every side, every perspective. So let's do this. We're gonna bring the right hand, I'm not mirroring you, index and middle fingers to the root of your thumb. So your thumb stays up, ring, pinky stay up, and you have your face turned toward your face. And you can allow your eyes to soften, turn inwardly. You can close your eyes when you're ready. And bring your attention to your breath. And you are the weaver. You are the one who spins the thread with which you weave your life. And you're not the only one. There are forces around you. You're part of a greater tapestry, but you do have agency. This is the invitation of this embodied breath practice. Bring a little bit of a tone to the back of the throat, and that reminds us that we are empowered. The breath is bigger than us. It breathes us. Its power is greater than your choice. Try to not breathe for a while and you'll pass out, and the breath will come back in. So a little tone in the back of the throat, almost like you're whispering. And breathe in slowly. And then close your left nostril with your ring and your pinky fingers, and slowly exhale out through the right side. Deep breath in through the right. Close both nostrils, hold the breath, and slowly exhale out of your left side. Still out through the nose and through the tightening of the passage of the breath, and that toning in the back of the throat. Deep breath in through the left. Close both nostrils and hold the breath. And exhale out of your right side. Deep breath in through the right, sorry. Close, hold, and exhale left. Inhale through the left side. And notice how you feel in your body. I feel my left nostril very clogged. Close the nostrils and exhale through the right side. And keep the awareness moving. Let's do one more round. Inhale through the right, moving around your body. Close both nostrils, hold the breath, and exhale through your left side. Move into how you feel, how you experience yourself right now. Inhale through the left. Close and hold. And exhale right. And at the end of this exhalation through the right nostril, release the right hand and let both hands rest on your thighs or on your knees. Breathe in slowly through both of your nostrils. Still with Ujjayi breath through the tone in the back of the throat. Exhale through both nostrils. Just a few more moments to sit with yourself. Notice the air around you and how it touches your skin, the parts of your skin that are exposed. And now how it touches the inside of you, the passageways of your breath, the inside of your lungs. And how it's touched by you as you breathe out. You reconnect yourself and reweave yourself with your surroundings. And when you're ready, bring your hands together in front of your heart, and you can rub your hands together a little bit. And whenever you're ready, allow your eyes to softly open. Thank you so much for joining me for this. I hope this was somewhat helpful for you. And if it was, and if this kind of work feels meaningful and helpful, please subscribe to this channel, and I will leave a link for you to subscribe to my mailing list and also receive my free ritual guide. And I will also leave a link for you to subscribe to my Substack, where it's an exploration of muse and creativity, particularly specifically right now in these upheaval times. So all of that is waiting for you in the description of the video, and I look forward to continuing to work with you and see you again sometime soon. Thank you so very much. Namaste.